Begin, and Cantor Katie.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Okay, so let's begin our service with the Shochein Ad, which is the prayer that starts the Shacharit service. You'll find it on page 147.
Shochein Ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai v'yisharim nava tehila b'fi yesharim tithalal uv'divrei tzadikim titbarach uv'shon chasidim titromam uv'kerev kidoshim Titkadash, yainanai, yainanai, nainai, nai, yainanai, yainanai, nainai, yainai, nai, yainanai, yainanai, nainai, nai, yainanai, nainai, nainai. שכן חובה כל היצורים לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקנס, על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך.
They do much with this.
Next page.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאי אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו. ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודאות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך מלכי העולמים.
Okay, before we continue, I understand there was a little problem hearing downstairs, just a little technical difficulty, but what else could happen this year? So I'm unmuting, or actually, Aaron or whoever is in the sanctuary, maybe if you unmute the laptop there. Will that help? No, Josh, not this one. The one actually in the sanctuary. Are you getting volume? Just tell me if you're hearing us.
I'm hearing.
Okay, well that's good. But I meant on the Bima. If you guys can hear in the screen.
We can hear through the screen, but we can't hear through the TV.
You can't hear through the TV. So maybe just try, increasing the volume. They didn't teach me this in rabbinical school. I don't know. Unless you're, need to fiddle with it. But anyway, as long as you can hear on the laptop, the cantor will sing loud, and we'll all try to hear. Okay, as we continue with our service, and you rise for the Baruch Hu and the Chatzi Kaddish.
וקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דברך ירתף ימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וימיכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי המיה, יפרח ישתבח ופאב ירומם וינסה, ותדע ודלי ודלה שמי קודשה ברכו לעילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
And we continue. As mentioned, the PDF of the service is found in your chat. If you want to click on that, you can go through. We're skipping a little bit here in the Zoom era. We just need to expedite matters a little bit more online. So we're on page 153 as we conclude this first blessing before the Shema.
אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצא המאורות.
Page 154.
אהבה רבה, אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו. אהבה רבה, אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו. חמלה גדולה ויתרה חמלת עלינו. אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו. והארננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו. כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול. סלע באמת להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
And we continue with the Shema.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
I'm back. Let's continue with a prayer for redemption.
תהילו לי אל עליון ברוך הוא מבורך, משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. שירה חדשה שבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תחילות אוסף אלה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
And we rise for the Amidah, as you'll find it on page 159. This is, on one hand, a festival. We think of Hanukkah as a festival, but it is not a festival like other festivals. And so we just recite the Shabbat morning Amidah with an inclusion of the prayer al Hanisim, the prayer on the miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים.
נקדש את שמך בעולם.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרזה אל זה ואמר.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו. אז בקור רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנשאים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ממקומך מכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים, עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראינה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדבר. הללויה.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
שמו.
האל הקדוש.
Amen. And Cantor, I don't know if you want to just sing a couple of lines of Al Hanisim, that special prayer on the miracles that we recite on
And
Hanukkah.
then you just hit the volume. But they had everyone.
You guys, how are you doing downstairs? Can you hear us?
Try that.
Aaron, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us down there.
We can hear you, but like not through the TV.
Okay, so maybe what I'm thinking is the other laptop, which is in the other room, even if you bring it into the back and put the volume on high, and then we can move it back and forth as needed for the aliyahs, but at least you'll get a little stereo of the sound if you're not hearing
Well,
us.
it's okay. I just want to be able to move. You know what I mean? It's hard to sit in one spot like that.
Okay. All right, but meanwhile, everyone else, please stay muted. Go ahead, Cantor. Let's hear about some miracles. The miracle of the sound instead of the light. It could be a sound and light show.
על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
All right. So now, because it is Hanukkah and it is a festival in many respects, we recite the Psalms of praise known as Hallel. And you'll find it in your prayer books or right here on the screen. In the prayer books, it's on page 213.
316.
Or 316. Whichever yeah, that's right, because it's compiled differently on the PDF. On the prayer books, 316, but here it's after 213. So what's most important is to rise and follow along and be joyous.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לקרוא את ההלל.
Amen.
מקימים מעפרדה, מאשפות ירים מאביון, להושיבים נדיבים עם נדיבי עמו, מושיבי עקרת הבית, הם הבנים שמחה, הללויה. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז, הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו, הים ינוס, הירדן יסוב לאחור, ההרים רק כדוכאלים, גבעות כבני צאן. מלך הים,
מלך הים,
איתנוס,
איתנוס,
הירדן,
הירדן,
תיסוב לאחור,
תיסוב לאחור,
ההרים,
ההרים,
תרקדו כאלים,
ירקדו כאלים,
גבעות,
גבעות,
כבני צאן,
כבני צאן,
מלפני אדון,
מלפני אדון,
כולי הארץ,
כולי הארץ, מלפני
אלוה יעקב,
אלוה יעקב,
ההופכי הצור,
ההופכי הצור,
אגמיים,
אגמיים,
חלמיש,
חלמים,
למיינו מים.
למים מים.
לא לנו, אדוני, לא לנו, כי לשמך תן כבוד, חסדך על עמיתך. ישראל בטח באדוני, עזרם ומגינם, הוא בית אהרון בתוכו. באדוני עזרם ומגינם, הוא ירא אדוני בתוכו, באדוני עזרם ומגינם הוא. אדוני זכרנו יברך, יברך את בית ישראל, יברך את בית אהרון, יברך יראי אדוני, הקטנים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני עליהם, עליכם ועל בניכם, ברוכים אתם לאדוני, עושה שמיים בארץ, השמיים שמיים לאדוני, והארץ נתן לבני אדם, לא המתים יהללויה, ולא כל יורדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה. אהבתי כי שמע אדוני את קולי תחנוני. את הלך לפני אדוני בארצות החיים, האמנתי כי אדבר, אני עניתי מאוד, אני אמרתי וחופצי כל האדם כוזר.
Ashib, let I call time alone. We're on the bottom of 318, going on to the next page.
לך אזבח זבח תודה, ובשם אדוני אקרא, נדרי לאדוני אשלם, נגדנה לכל עמו, בחצרות בית אדוני, בתוכך ירושלים, הללויה. הללו את אדוני, כל גויים, שבחוהו, כל האומים, כי גבר עלינו, חסדו ואמת, אדוני לעולם, הללויה. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו, יאמר נא כי לעולם חסדו, יאמרנה בית אהרון, כי לעולם חסדו, יאמרנה ירא אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. מן המצר קראתיה, ענני ומרחביה. מן המצר קראתיה, ענני ומרחביה. ענני, ענני, ענני ומרחביה. ענני, ענני, ענני ומרחביה.
320.
O Ziv Zimradia, Vayehi Lishua. 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 Pituli Sha'arei Tzedek, Avova Modeya. Pituli Sha'arei Tzedek, Avova Modeya. Ze Hashal Adonai, Tzadikim Yavovo. Ze Hashal Adonai, Tzadikim Yavovo. Odeka ki anitani vatahili lishua. Odecha ki anitani vatahili lishua. Even ma'asu habonim hayta lirosh pina. Even ma'asu habonim hayta lirosh pina. Me'et Adonai hayta zot hi niflat einenu. מאת אדוני הייתה זאת, היא נפלאת בעינינו. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. זה היום עשה אדוני, נגילה ונשמחה בו. ענה אדוני הושיענה.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Baruch haba b'shem Adonai berachnuchem מבית Adonai. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai berachnuchem מבית Adonai. El Adonai v'yair lanu izruchak ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach. El Adonai v'yair lanu izruchak ba'avotim ad karnot hamizbeach. Eli ata ve'odeka Elohai aromemeka. Eli ata ve'odeka Elohai aromemeka. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki לעולם חסדו, הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו.
And we conclude the Hallel.
כי לך טוב להודות ולשמחה נאה לזמר, כי מעולם ועד עולם אתה אל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מחולל בתשבחות.
And feel free to be seated. Kaddish Shalem.
יקדל ויקדש מרבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה קדותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמייך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה. וכולי אלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תקבל צלותכון ובתות כל ישראל קודם אבוהון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. And Shabbat Shalom and welcome to everyone. And we have nearly 100 devices and many more than 100 people who are participating this morning, this Shabbat and Chanukah morning. Of course, the main event, aside from Shabbat and Chanukah, is Aaron becoming Bar Mitzvah. We're going to welcome him now to the Bima. And as I put into the chat the PDF, you can follow the service along the Torah service in there on page 168. But know that we won't be featuring it here and sharing it on the screen. And as I understand it, just as in the days of the Maccabees when they searched the temple for a source of light, we searched the temple for a source of getting the sound working. So I understand it is working because I actually just walked over from the chapel where I am to the balcony overlooking our sanctuary, and I could hear it. So everything sounds great, and it's terrific. So Aaron, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, so why don't you start us off with the Torah service?
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kamasecha, malachutecha malachut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed. Adonai oz li'amo yatain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Arahamim hetiva v'erzo ha'et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki v'cha levat batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olami.
Okay, if you just pause for a second, Rachel, Keith, can you go back to the ark? And Josh, optional, if you'd like to come along. And there he goes. Okay, and we open the ark, and everyone please rise as we continue.
Vayehi ben Sona Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafutsu oivecha, V'yanusu misanecha mipanecha, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai, mi Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Li'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato.
Okay, Aaron, why don't you go back to the ark, and I guess your dad's going to give you that little Torah in the middle. Okay. And the ark is closed, and then everyone come on forward as Aaron's going to lead us in the recitation of the Shema. Here, I want you to sort of stand in the middle. I hate to sound like a Hollywood director here, but we want to see you in the Torah. Okay, so there you go. Go ahead.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Salu Adonai, Unem Romano, Samo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai Hagedula,
Okay, we can all now air kiss the Torah.
והתפארת והנצח והחוד כי כה בשמיים ובארץ
I want to see every square air kissing the Torah.
כי כה בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש.
All right. And if we can all be seated, and the Torah can be placed down and undressed with the mantle put on top of it or on the stand right next door. There you go. So I know this is this is the world we live in. Aaron, by the way, is the first bar mitzvah of his grade, of his class. So he's really setting the pace, but at the same time, the last bar mitzvah of the decade, if you count the decade correctly. And as a non-scientist mathematician, I've been told how to correctly count it. But also the last of 2020 here at Temple Bethel, which in and of itself is momentous. So we have all kinds of strange things that we're doing, including the rabbi acting as a TV director instead of just rabbiing. So here we are, and we have the special Torah reading. We usually actually on Hanukkah would bring out 2 Torahs. We're only going to use one because many of our readers are going to be reading remotely today for safety's sake. But the special reading for Hanukkah we'll see a little later on. The regular portion is Vayeshev, and I'm going to put the portion and the commentary into the chat, the link into the chat in just a moment so that you can follow along. You need to click on it and it'll appear on your screen if you want to follow the text. Meanwhile, on camera, we're going to show the people who come up for Aliyahs and to read Torah. And I just want to remind all of those who are coming for Aliyahs, if you're in the room there, the special laptop is set up in the back, distanced. And that's where Josh is right now, I think. So you go to that one to have your Aliyah. If you're somewhere else in the universe, all you need to do is unmute yourselves and make sure you're in front of your camera so we can see you on the screen having your Aliyah, either the blessings or the Torah readings. If you don't have the blessings in front of you, just let me know and I will, I'll show it on the screen here for you. All right, so I think we are ready to go with our first
I know it.
reading. And Rachel's going to be doing the first Torah reading. And we have Oma and Opa who will have the Aliyah. So Alan and Evelyn, you ready? Yamdu Abraham David ben Mordechai Ephraim Rivka Bechava Rivka bat Elimelech Bechaya.
Baruch Adonai Hambara.
Baruch Adonai Hambara. Ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher B'chavanu Mikol Ha'omim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen. Vayehi ba'et hahi vayered Yehuda me'et echad vayet ad isha dilami ushmo chira vayersham Yehuda bat ish kanani ushmo shua vayikachecha vayavo elecha vatahar vatele ben vayikrat shemo Vatahar od vatele ben Vatikrat Shemo Onan, Vatosef od vatele ben Vatikrat Shemo Shelah, Vahaya Bixi Belidata Oto, Vaikach Yehuda, Isha Le'er Bechoro, Ushema Tamar.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher natan lanu et Torat emet v'chayei malka b'tokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai notein HaTorah.
Amen. Yashar Koach. That was wonderful. So now, and wonderful Torah reading too. So now for the second Aliyah, our Torah reader is going to be Aaron's tutor, Lisa Rose, later. So make sure that you're all muted or unmuted as need be. And Grandpa Harvey and Jane are going to have the blessings. Yamod, Tova, V'Fega, Bat L'Sheni.
Baruch Atoy Adonai Hamparah. Baruch Atoy Hamparah Loem Ba'id. Baruch Atoy Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher B'chavanu Mikol Hamim V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atoy Adonai Noten HaTorah. I did pretty good for that. Okay, it's my device.
Aaron, you may need to mute the other computer while doing Aliyah here. Okay, go ahead.
Amen. Vaikach Yehuda Isha Le'er Bechoro Ushma Tamar Vayehi Bechor Yehuda Ra B'einei Adonai Vayamitehu Adonai Vayomer Yehuda Le'onan Bo El Eshet Achicha Vayabim Ota Vahakem Zera Vahachicha Vayeda Onan Ki Lo Yeh Hazara Vahaya Ima El Eshet Achiv V'shichet Arza Levioti Netan Zera Achiv Vayera Ve'enei Adonai Asher Asa Vayamet Gamoto Vayamer Yehuda V'tamar Chalto Shevi Almana Betavich Ad Yigdal Shela V'neki Amar Pen Yamut Gamhu Kiechav V'telech Tamar ותשב בית אביها.
ברוך אתה אדוני
אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, ואשר נתנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Wow. Thank you.
shake hands.
Everyone. Now for the third Aliyah, we're in Genesis chapter 38, verse 12. And Super Uncle, Joel Friedman, is going to come up. And Super Uncle and Super Aunt Joel and Marion are having this Aliyah. Yamod, Miriam Bat Moshe Vefega, Yamod, Yoel Ben Avraham Vitova, Lishlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch. I don't have Baruch Li'olam Ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach li'olam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yame Bayamim Mount Bachishua. It's a the clan Yidada La Yar Alzay Oluna Ho Yidera Abdulami Temtata Bayagas Tisadma Lemor Haine Tami Ole Hagmata Lano Hadno Zaka Halmia Kimi Hole Veticham Veteri Vetertala Vetisha Veter Shayim Asher Al Yadech Timnata Ki Brahata Ki Go Shalom He Lo Tena Lo Lisha Na Ki Betitha Kevnecha Ele et Hader Bayamar Hava Dea Evo Elayek Ki Yadno Yada Ki Kavoto Hay Matrovna Matitan Lai Ki Tamil Elayek Ayom Kayai Kashala Kiti it's not so it's a so she's a so Lacha Ayom Ma Sasha Asher Atalo Atalo Ratatan Sislecha Viatea Asher Sislecha Efitan Unilo Elaya
Okay.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach. No, we did that already. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natav b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yasher koach. Now for the fourth aliyah, Genesis 38, chapter 38, verse 15. Again, you can find the link. And Michael Breyer's Uncle Michael is going to be our Torah reader, and honored guests, Lisa and Jeff Mannheim, president of Temple Bethel, is Lisa. And there you have the aliyah. Yamod, Leah bat Nechama Yamod, Yaakov ben Michael.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayireh Yehuda. Lezona Neha Vayekaleha El Hadereh Vayomer Avana Abo Elayeh Ki Lo Yada Ki Kalto Ki Vatomer Mi Titain Li Ki Tavo Elai Vayomer Anochi Eshalech Kedei Zimin Hatzon Vatomer Im Titain Aravon Ad Shalcha Vayomer Maheravon Asher Ten La Vatomer Hotamcha Upiti Lecha Umatcha asher biyadecha vayitain la vayavo elecha v'tahar lo v'takam v'telech v'tatsar se'ifa me'alecha v'tilbash begadei alum nunata.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natav b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Yasher koach to everyone who's been reading and participating. Now, Michael has mentioned to me that he recovered from a life-threatening illness and wishes to recite what's called the Gomel blessing, the Gomel prayer, which is found on 173. If you have the prayer book by you, it's recited by that person, and there is a response. So, Michael, and we want to just give you the opportunity to do that now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Gomel l'chayavim tov v'gamalanu kol.
Okay. Who has shown favor to you, continue to bestow good upon you and upon all who face such trauma. And so now let's continue with the fifth aliyah. Uncle Jonathan, ready for the Torah reading, and Aunt and Uncle Matthew and Victoria are going to have the blessing. Tamod Hadassah Simcha Bat Shoshana v'Yaakov David v'Mordechai Ephraim ben Chana v'Rivka v'Abraham David l'Chamishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim
v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayishlach Yehuda ekedi ha'izim v'yad
Rehu Amdulami, Lakachata Evayon Miyad Haisha, Velo Mitzvah, Vayishal, Etam Shemikoma Lemor, Aye Hakidesha, Iv Be'anaim Al Hadarech, Vayomeru, Lo Haita Bazek. Shah Vayashav El Yehuda Vayomer Lo Mitzvatiha Vegam Anshe Hamakom Amru Lo Haita Vazek Shah Vayomer Yehuda Tikach La Pen Lavuz Hine Shalakti Hagedi Hazeh Ve'ata lo mitzata.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesha Koach again to all of you. So now for the sixth Aliyah, we're in Genesis chapter 38, verse 24. And Keith is going to be our Torah reader. And Uncle Jonathan have the Aliyah. Yamod Yisrael ben Chaim v'fega l'shishi.
Baruch et Adonai Hamarah. Baruch atah Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torah to. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ending for.
Keith, are you there? Wait, Keith, I think you're muted. Sorry. Sorry, just unmute and start again, okay?
There you go.
Sorry about that.
No, my go ahead.
Vayi, Amen. Vayi ki mishlosh hoshamayim vayugad li Yehuda lemor zanta tamor kala talechacha vagam hine hara lizinim vayomer Yehuda hotziwa v'teserech hi mutze v'hi shalach el haymacha lemor lish asher ele lo anohi hara vatomer haker na lemi hachotemet v'hatelim v'hatemet v'hamateh ha'ele vayeker Yehuda vayomer tzadka mimeni ki aken lo netahiha le'shela vini ve'lo yasaf od le'data.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamarah Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torah emet v'chayei natan lanu betonenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So, Jonathan, who was next to you in the picture? Can you go back there and just say hello and pull everyone in so we can see the whole family?
Well, this is what we got right here.
Okay. Hi there.
This is Cousin Blake.
Hi, Cousin Blake.
Say Cousin Blake again, because I think we lost the photo, the picture.
Cousin Blake.
Thank you.
You're
My
very
day
welcome.
wouldn't have been complete without Cousin Blake. That's what I need. Okay, so now for the seventh Aliyah, Rachel and Keith are going to have this Aliyah. And Opa, Alan is going to do the reading. Okay. Yamod Pesel Golda, Tamod Pesel Golda Bar Avraham, David v'Chava Rivka v'Yamod Yisachar ben Chaim v'Fega l'Shvi'i.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Li'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Li'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notin haTorah.
Amen. Vayehi b'yet lita v'hinei teombim b'vidnam. Vayehi b'lita vayiten yach v'tikach hamuledet v'tikshor al yado sheni lemor zeh yitzor rishonam. Vayehi kebeshiv yodom v'nev yotzachi v'atomer aparat stoleka poretz v'yikwashemo poretz v'achal yatza achi asher al yodom hashoni v'yikwashemo zorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tofenu. Baruch atah Adonai notin haTorah.
Amen. Yashar Koach once again. So normally, there's nothing normal about this year. It's extraordinary. But normally, we would have 2 Torahs out. We would be, in the moment, lifting the first Torah and then unrolling the second. But we only have 1 Torah out at the moment. But we will do the Chatzi Kaddish, the half Kaddish, which marks the sort of separation of the regular Torah reading and the Maftir reading. And Harriet, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go for it. Please rise.
Yikadav Yikadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalmad divra kirute v'yamlich malkute. V'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayedeko Beit Yisrael. Ha'agala uvizman kariv v'imaru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach. V'olam olam maya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal. Shmei dekudashah.
Rechu.
La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechkamata. Da'umiran v'yalma v'yimaru.
Amen.
Thank you. Harriet does Chatzi Kaddish for us every week, and we're so happy that you could be with us. So now, Cantor Katie is going to call Aaron up for his Maftir Aliyah.
Ya Amor, Ya Amor, Habachur Habar Mitzvah, Elimelech Raphael, Ben Yizachar V'Pesel Golda, Maftir Chazak.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notin haTorah. Bayom Hasheni Higriv Netanel ben Zor Nasi Yisachar Higriv et Karbana al Ka'ara Kesef Achat Sheloshim Umayah Shkala Mizrach Echad Kesef Shevim Shekel Veshekel HaKodesh Shnehem Lehi Dolet Veshemen Mincha Kaf Achat Asara Zachar Leah Keturet Korachot Ben Bakor Ayil Echad Yaves Echad Ben Shnato Leolah Irin Echad Lehatat Ulzeva Ashami Shanayim Elim Hamisha Utradi Hamisha Kematin B'nai Shana Hamisha Zeh Karban Netanel Ben Suar. Oh, Baruch Atah Adonai, Baruch Atah, Baruch Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam natan b'torchinu, Baruch Atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashar Koach was amazing. So now we're going to lift and dress the Torah. Keith, you ready to do some lifting? Yamot Hagbat Hamot Lila. And Rachel or Josh or both, if you'd like to help out, please do with the rapping as we rise.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe.
So the Torah is now being dressed, and Aaron's preparing for the Haftarah. As mentioned before, I'm up here in the chapel of Temple Bethel, which has stained glass dating back to the original Bethel, the building built a little less than 100 years ago. And you can see that one of the glass depictions is of this week's special Haftarah for Chanukah. It has the grand menorah, as envisioned by the prophet Zechariah, and the line on top, the Hebrew words, lo b'chayil v'lo b'koach ki im b'ruchi, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. And it's a beautiful Haftarah that Aaron is going to recite part of it for us. I put into the chat the special link to the Haftarah for Shabbat Chanukah. For those who are in attendance downstairs in the sanctuary, if you happen to have a piece of candy, don't throw it yet. But at the conclusion, after his final blessings, feel free to lightly toss one or two in his direction. Josh has agreed to be on cleanup duty for all the appropriately distanced candy that's thrown. Also note that Aaron, we've made a special arrangement. We're really being very careful, as you have seen, but we invite our B'nai Mitzvah students to take off their masks for their Haftorah, for this very special moment. So Aaron, all yours.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim rata v'divreihem henemarim be'emet. Baruch Atah Adonai habacher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Sorry, wait one sec. Rani v'simhi batio ki hineni va v'shachanti v'tochei niyum Adonai v'niavu goyim rabim el Adonai bayom hachu v'chayu li le'am v'shachanti betochei v'yadat ki Adonai sevaot shelachani elayech. V'nachol Adonai et Yehuda chelko al admat hakodesh uvachor od b'Yerushalayim. Has kobasar mipnei Adonai ki neor mimon kadsho. Va'an va'omar el hamalach hadover bi lemor ma'elech Adoni. Vayan Hamala Hadover bi Vayomer Eli Halo Yadata Macheme Ele Vaomar Lo Adoni Vayan Vayomer Eli Lemor Zedevar Adonai El Zerubbabel Lemor Lo Vechayil Velo Vechoa Ki Im Baruchi Amar Adonai Sevaot Miata Har Hagadol Lifnei Zerubbabel Lemishor V'chotzi Et Ha'even Harosha Teshuot Chen Chen La. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asor Kol Halamim Tzadik Bechol Hadarot Ha'el HaNe'eman HaOmer Bo'oseh Hamdaber Unkayim Shekol Devarav Emet Batzedek Ne'eman Atahu Adonai Eloheinu Bene'emanim Devarecha Bedavar Echad Midvarecha Ahor Lo Yashuv Rekam Ki El Melech Ne'eman Rachaman Ata Baruch Ata Adonai V'Samea Sion Bevanecha Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu Be'Eliyahu Hanavi Abdecha Uv'machu Beit David Meshihecha B'mhera Yavo Yagel Libeinu Al Kisa Lo Yishev Zar Velo Yinhalu Od Eherim Et Kivado Ki B'Shem Katshecha Nishbat Halo Shelo Yichbeinei Ro Li'olam Ba'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Magen David Al HaTorah V'al HaAvodah V'al HaNve'im V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenatan Lanu Adonai Eloheinu L'Kedusha V'Linucha L'Chafo U'Tifaret Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim La M'varchim Ota Yitbarashim B'Fi Kol Hai Tamid Li'olam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Yashakoa.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. You did it.
Mazel tov, and you'll all be happy to know that my throw made it nearly to the front row from way in the back. So anyway, I'm getting better. But Aaron, you got plenty of candy there, and you earned it. So why don't we give you a little bit of a rest so you can sit down for a couple of minutes as we are going to continue with our service with the healing prayer, Mishberach. And in all seriousness, there's a lot of healing that is needed right now in our country, in our world, and especially with the pandemic. We just pray for so many people. So please feel free to place into the chat the names or initials of any names, any people that you would want remembered now. Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikol habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikol habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. And this month of Hanukkah is the darkest month of the Jewish year. It also happens to be the darkest month on the solar calendar. But with each night of Hanukkah, the light increases to the point where, unlike other Jewish holidays, major holidays at least, it occurs at the end of the month, so that we have the new moon, the darkest sky, and yet toward the end of the month and toward the end of the holiday, the sky begins to brighten as our Hanukkah menorahs fill up with candles. And so we have a new month, the new month of Tevet, that begins always during the festival of Hanukkah. And this week, we will welcome it on Wednesday, and we welcome it and bless it with this special new month prayer.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetchadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova ve'livracha v'titan lanu chayim arukim chayim shel shalom chayim shel tova chayim shel beracha chayim shel parnasa chayim shel chilutz atzamot chayim sheyesh bahem yirat shamayim v'yirat chet chayim she'en bahem busha uchlima chayim shelo v'chavod chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim chayim she'imalu mishalot libeinu litova. Amen. Selah. Mi she'asa nisim lavotenu limotenu v'ga'al otam me'avdut lecherut hu yigal otanu bikarov v'kabetz nidachenu me'arba kanfot ha'aretz chaverim ko Israel v'nomar Amen. Rosh Chodesh Tevet yeh biyom revi'i haba aleinu v'yakol Yisrael l'tova. Yichad Shehu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu v'yakol amo Beit Yisrael l'chaim u'l'shalom Amen l'sason u'l'simcha Amen l'yeshua u'l'nechama v'nomar Amen.
And we pray that the Holy One bless this new month of Tevet for us, for the entire people and house of Israel, and for all the world, with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and consolation, and a working vaccine. And we all say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So now we're going to prepare to put the Torah back in the ark, return the Torah to the ark, which means, Aaron, you're back on duty. And let's get your parents up there to open the ark. As you're going to walk the Torah, first they hand you the Torah for Yahalelu. It's on page 183 if you're following in the CD.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki neskav shamo levado.
Okay, let's all do air kiss, Aaron. I got to air kiss the Torah. Excuse me. Okay,
What?
anyone
Air
else?
kiss.
Air kiss the Torah. All right, we're all air kiss.
Odo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila l'chol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem Torati al ta'azovu et chaim hi lamachzikim bach v'tomcheha meushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu
So now the ark is closed, and everyone but Aaron can sit down. Aaron, why don't you come forward and take out your Devar Torah, your speech, because that's the one thing that we definitely need right now. Some words of wisdom from a very wise young man. That's probably the most wise word I've heard all day. Oy. All right. Aaron, you know my sense.
I mean, today hasn't really been that long of a day.
That's true. There's a lot more day to go. So why don't you share some of your thoughts with us?
Wait, before he starts, can he angle that up a little bit?
A little bit up. Yeah, we're
Full head.
sort of cutting off the top of your head.
Ah, there you are, Aaron.
Oh.
Perfect.
The
Thank
eternal light, the head, the yarmulke, we got it all. Go for it.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. I want to start by sharing a story about my great Oma and Opa, German for Grandma and Grandpa. They lived in Berlin, Germany at the time of Adolf Hitler. My great Opa owned a furniture store and had a customer who never paid for the couch he purchased. My great Opa was going to have to repossess his furniture, but little did he know this customer was an SS officer working for Hitler. and instead of the customer settling the bill, he threatened my opa's life. My grandparents knew they had to escape and would have very little time before the officer would find them again. As they were planning to flee, they could only get one legal passport and thought it would be safest if my great opa kept a legitimate passport, since the soldier was threatening his life and he would meet my great oma in Palestine. Drink the water. The challenge was that my great oma and my great uncle Raphael, who was only a baby at the time, had fake passports, and if they were caught, they would have lost their chance at freedom and have to face life in Berlin under Hitler's reign. My great oma confided in an elderly Christian doctor from Austria on their boat ride to Palestine. She shared with him that she had a false passport and asked for his help. The morning the boat docked, the doctor gave my great Uncle Raphael a shot. Uncle Raphael spiked a high fever and was screaming. The doctor announced that this child was critically ill and he as a doctor needed to get him immediate medical attention. As a result, he was able to get the agents to overlook the fake passports, and my great oma and uncle were safe to stay in Palestine. This Christian doctor, whose name we never learned, was a true hero, and if it was not for the selfless act, my family might have never made it into Palestine and then eventually to the United States of America. Therefore, I might not be here sharing my bar mitzvah today. In my Torah portion, Vayeshev, in chapter 37 of Genesis, Jacob tells Joseph to go check on his brothers, who, as you may recall, his brothers hated his guts because of his dreams. As Joseph looks for his brothers, he gets lost. A man finds him wandering around, notices he was lost, and points him in the right direction. What's interesting about this story is that this man, with no name, just appears out of nowhere. Why does the Torah not give his name? There could be 3 reasons. 1, because he's just not that important. 2, because God is the one pulling the strings and deciding our fate, so the identity of this individual really doesn't matter. Or 3, this shows every person is of incredible importance. Even someone whose name is never mentioned can make a huge difference. I think the Torah is leading to answer number 3. Think about it. Without this man pointing Joseph to his jealous brothers, Joseph would not have been sold as a slave to Potiphar, and he wouldn't have had his famous dreams that saved Egyptians from years of famine. If that hadn't happened, Joseph wouldn't have become Pharaoh's right-hand man and Egypt's leader. And if that hadn't happened, Joseph's family wouldn't have come down to Egypt for food and discovered Joseph is still alive. And if that hadn't happened, the children of Israel wouldn't have settled in Egypt and become slaves. And if that hadn't happened, the Jews wouldn't have escaped from slavery, crossed the Red Sea, gotten the 10 Commandments, and made it to the Promised Land. And then Judaism as a whole might have never existed, all because of that nameless man. A single person in a single act can change the world. And sometimes a single person can change someone's life. In my case, it was my good friend Emmett who passed away last year. My father tells me you only need one good friend in life, someone who accepts you for who you are and will stand by your side in good times and bad. Emmett and I would spend hours just laughing, playing games, and being kids. It can be hard for me to connect to certain people, but being Emmett's friend was easy. He was someone who never complained except for when people were eating eggs around him. Even when he was going through extensive treatment at Boston Children's Hospital, he was always optimistic with a smile on his face. I want to make sure I continue his honor and his wish of making people happy by continuing to add to his amazing playground that you can find outside our temple's door. In that spirit, my bar mitzvah project is to raise money to add picnic tables for families and friends to gather there. If you would like to contribute to my cause, we have put a link in the chat so you can go there after Shabbat. As I become a bar mitzvah on this Shabbat Hanukkah, I hope that like the shamash that lights all the other candles, like the man that showed Joseph the way, like the Austrian doctor who saved my Oma's and uncle's life, and like my good friend Emmett, who is always there to make people smile, I will be able to light that candle that can change the world. And finally, I would like to thank some special people who helped me get to this point. Rabbi Hammerman, who is always willing to address my questions about Judaism, Kidra Katie, who helped me chant today's prayers, Lisa Grove Rader, who is always patient in helping me learn today's Torah and Haftorah, my friends for their support, and finally, my little brother Joshua for always standing by me, and my parents for loving me unconditionally. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So, Aaron, first thing I want to ask, I don't know if Katie, you can double spotlight us, but anyway, first of all, I'm muted. How about that? No, I'm spotlighted.
You're not?
Oh, okay, I'm not muted. Thanks, Aaron.
Here, we got the link.
First, that was an amazing Devar Torah, and I have to tell everyone that it's yours. It was your thinking very much all the way through. We worked together on it, but it was yours. I also just want to ask you, please, to put your mask back on now, because as we talked about, the small acts of a single person can save a life and save the world, and I think that's an important demonstration for you to make right now. And I know how hard it was having to deal with a bar mitzvah in these circumstances. I mean, all of us felt by December, come on, by Hanukkah, things will be back to normal. And as you know, they haven't been. But it was so important for you to be in that sanctuary. And what you mentioned about Emmett, I think, was part of the reason why. When I asked you about it, you said, because Emmett's here. And Emmett's spirit is very much in that room and certainly in the playground and throughout our building. And in your life. And so I'm so glad that you've chosen to highlight him. So anyway, I want to talk with you a little bit because you have set a very high bar. And I don't mean because you're getting pretty tall, but you have set a real high bar for your class. And you are the first one. You are leading off. Yes, you're the last one of the decade officially, but you are the first one for your grade. And they are all looking up to you in every respect today. And you mentioned something about my always being able to answer your questions. Well, I'm going to turn the tables a little bit on you today and ask you some questions. But I also have to say that you always have great questions. I almost wish we could just have a Q&A session right now from you. Because over the years, whenever I've come into an Ask the Rabbi session at Hebrew school,
yes.
I've seen you, I've looked around the room, and I've seen Aaron, I said, oh, he's here. And I cannot wait for your questions. So never stop asking questions. But now I get to turn the tables. Because as you know, this COVID year, I've been sort of upping the ante a little bit to make it special, to liven things up, to raise the stakes. So all the preparation, all the work that you've put into today will be for naught unless you pass this final test. And if you do not pass, you will have to go through all of this all over again. In fact, the whole congregation will have to go through 2020 all over again. So,
oh no.
Yes. And since you mentioned to me that Monty Python and the Holy Grail is perhaps one of your all-time favorite films, well, that caused a complication because a Black Knight has informed me that none shall pass. So if you want to make it into Bar Mitzvahhood, you have to answer these questions. To get past the little toll booth, what is your name?
Eli Melech Raphael.
Okay, got one. What is your quest?
Become a bar mitzvah. Wait, after this, if I completed it, I know a new quest. We are going to seek the cup of Kiddush.
Ooh, wow, the cup of Kiddush. That is pretty good. The holy cup of Kiddush. Okay, what is your favorite color?
Red.
Okay, no blue, no, just red. Okay, good. Okay, and let's see. Oh, an easy one to end up. What is the RP velocity of an unladen swallow?
An African or a European?
Oh, I don't know. Ah! Okay. You passed, but not quite yet. You see, we talked a lot about another one of your favorites, Broadway musical, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is perfect for this. It is this portion. In fact, did you know that Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the original? He wrote the Bible. I think Andrew Lloyd Webber is God, in fact. But, so I'm going to ask you a few questions that sort of combine the two. Which of the following is not true about Potiphar, Pharaoh's officer to whom Joseph was sold as a slave? A, Potiphar had very few cares. B, he was one of Egypt's millionaires. Or C, and he made his fortune buying shares in Pfizer.
C?
See?
Yeah, that's right, because he made his fortune buying shares, remember, in pyramids. Okay. Joseph's coat, this is the second question, of many colors, was in a class above the rest. It even went well with his vest. Now, which of the following colors was not in his coat, according to Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice? Okay. It was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn and lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream and crimson and silver and rose and azure and lemon and russet and gray and purple and white and pink and orange and blue and industrial wasty muddy sludgy mustard yellow. Which of these colors was not in the coat?
Industrial, wasty, muddy, sludgy, mustard yellow?
Oh my God, you are doing so well. Finally, here we go. Joseph had two dreams where he reported to his family. One were sheaves of corn, theirs were bowing down to his, and the other were 11 stars, and the sun and the moon bowed down to his star. The brothers reacted by saying, "The dreams are more than crystal clear. The writings on the wall means that Joseph someday soon will A, rise above us all, B, buy presents at the mall, C, be thrown into a pit and sold into slavery in Egypt, after which he will rise to be second to Pharaoh and save the whole civilized world from a terrible famine." Which one is in the show?
I think, well, let me do process of elimination. C doesn't rhyme.
Uh-huh.
B, I don't think there was any mall. I don't know, but I think it's A.
Oh, you passed. We don't have to go through this whole thing again. We don't have to go through 2020 again.
Wait.
You're changing your answer? No.
I want to call up my mom to do Go, 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 Joseph. Nope, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Okay. Oh my, we're right up for time. No, listen, I'd love to have her do it, maybe at the end. All right, so you passed, and that is a perfect word because we are all just passing through. We are travelers, all of us, waiting to meet that ish, that person that you described in your speech who will show us the way. But at the same time, there's an ish out there looking for us to show him or her the way. You are someone's ish. We're looking for that ish, but you are also someone's ish, Aaron, and you have shown us the way. When I think of journeys, it's remarkable, and we were talking about this before, how your family's journey has paralleled mine. And we have people who are at this service from places that have been important stops in my life, including Providence, Rhode Island, Peekskill, New York. But we talk about journeys and your portion. I didn't really know that much until we spoke recently about the connection to the Holocaust and the miraculous survival of the Jewish people afterwards. And the fact that today, this weekend, are your great-grandparents' birthdays, all the connections that come together. And all of us, and they were dependent on the random kindness of random people who helped them in their lives at important points. And that's what Joseph is all about. And that's what Hanukkah is all about. And I think, you've got such a deep, rich Jewish background on both sides of your family, and your parents especially, who are leaders in our community. And it's no wonder that you ask so many great questions. But there's one more reason, Aaron. You are a scientist at heart. You love science. And we talked about with your Torah portion and your speech, in fact, connecting it to science, to ecosystems, the cause and effect of chain reactions of events that led from Joseph's chance encounter with that Ish to Moses leading us to the promised land. It was like that butterfly effect, flapping its wings over the Pacific, leading to storms that form in the Atlantic. You see the big picture, Aaron. You do.
Excuse
And
me?
I see a big picture too. What? You have a question for me?
How would the butterfly survive to get all the way out there?
Well, that's the thing. It's not the one surviving. It's what it does survives. The results of its flapping its wings create a storm, but not today, when somehow miraculously the miracle of Hanukkah is that we have a really wet but nice weekend for you and your family. So when I look at you, I see an Ish, but I see an Ish in a very special sense. Not just a random person, but a real mensch. You are an Ish to the nth degree, just like your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents before you. So I am so proud of you, Aaron. You have set that high bar. And on behalf of our congregation and our community, I want to give some presentations to you. A certificate for a tree that's been planted in your name. And also, through the magic of molecular teleportation, this Tanakh will make its way from upstairs in the chapel to you. Wait, hold on. I'm just going. Wait. I'm going to slide it across to the, hold on, to the teleporting machine.
Okay.
And, oh my goodness, there it is. It has found its way to you, amazingly. And also, this Kiddush cup, which, poof, miraculously has found its way to you as well. And that is, in truth, the Holy Grail. So mazel tov to you, Aaron. We're going to do like a virtual hug now. Okay? I'm hugging you on my end. Can you hug me on your end?
Sure.
Like we have to. Okay, there we go. And I'm so, so proud of you. And when I call your parents up, they have a few words to say.
Aaron, Dad and I are so proud of you and what you've accomplished today. I know a lot of parents say that, but we really are. And we also want to quickly also thank some of the people that have gotten here today, Lisa, Rader, Rabbi Hammerman, and Cantor Katie. When you were born 13 years ago, Dad and I chose to give you the Hebrew name Elimelech Raphael because it represented two people whose characteristics Dad and I hoped you would emulate, and it turned out to be true. The first part of your Hebrew name is to remember your great Opa Elimelech. His distinguishing characteristic was hard work and sacrifice. Your great Opa had a really difficult life, and he recognized that nothing was going to be handed to him. He lost both his parents by the time he was just your age. He had to drop out of school in 8th grade. He had to escape a country that was on the brink of a war and eventually try to figure out life in the United States with his family, for his family. But despite these hardships and through the sheer force of his effort, sacrifice, and stressing the importance of education, his family achieved prosperity and grew from the roots he planted. And you show today that how you can accomplish a large task that might seem difficult with hard work and dedication. Continue this quest in working hard and being grateful for what you have. We only hope that this is just the beginning of many of the difficult accomplishments you will tackle in life. And as for the second part of your Hebrew name, Raphael, your great uncle had a different view of the world than most, which helped create his success. He, like you, had close, had close friends, but was not interested in being the most popular kid. He, like you, loves science, and maybe one day you might study to be a nuclear physicist just like him. And he, like you, was a devoted son, brother, and friend. And he, like you, might have been misunderstood sometimes by those around him, but he left an indelible mark on those who knew him best.
The Bar Torah, you mentioned how you want to be the Shamash, which is the candle that is used to light all other candles in the Hanukkah. This is not an easy task, but one that you are well prepared for by the lessons taught to you by your great Opa, your great uncle, as well as the world around you today. The Shamash might stand alone because sometimes the right thing to do might not be the popular thing. A Shamash leads by igniting a spark in others to give them the confidence because they know they have support behind them. A Shamash helps, and it does not ask for anything in return. You have shown time and time again that if someone is struggling, you will be the first to be by their side to show them comfort, or the first to share in their success when they win. You told us you think that this is what a normal person does. However, this is what an exceptional person does. As you move forward in life and continue to hone in on being the Shamash, Mom and I will be there to share in your successes and give you the confidence because you know we are behind you. Embrace the qualities that make you special and always be you. We love you.
Joshua, come up. Come on.
Okay, so if you can also just squeeze in together, we can get a nice screen grab after Shabbat. Oh, that's great.
How normal.
Wonderful. Cantor.
Yes. So, that Aaron, I am so impressed. I'm going to fix my thing here. There we go. I am so impressed with you. It has been such a joy getting to work with you over these past months and to watch you mature right in front of our eyes and paralleling. Oh, I can't see him on my screen anymore. I don't know where he went. Hang on a second.
No.
Thank you. That's better. I want to be able to see him. So paralleling the story of Joseph, one of the things that we see Joseph do throughout the story is mature and grow up and really learn. And I've just watched you. He keeps his playfulness, right? All the time, Joseph. He's playful. Aaron is playful. Everyone who knows Aaron knows that he's playful. But the wisdom runs so deep. And I'm so just blown away by your Devar today and the way that you wove all those stories together and the way that you took your personal narrative, your core, your identity as a Jew, and wove it to Torah and brought us all along with you. It's a gift, and it's really special. And I know that you are a dreamer as well. And I know this because we've connected over the world of D&D and thinking and creativity and fantasy and being able to come up with creative ideas that live outside of what's right in front of us. So my blessing for you is a little bit, it fits the day, that you be a dreamer always, that you be the Shamash, that you look for the good in people continually, the light that we see in Hanukkah, and that you also always know TBE is your home. I close my eyes, threw back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew, far, far away. Someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. Any dream will do. I wore my coat with golden lining, bright color shining, wonderful and new. And in the east, the dawn was breaking, and the world was waiting any dream will do. A crash of drums, a flash of light, my golden coat flew out of sight. Colors faded into darkness, I was left alone. May I return to the beginning. The light is dimming, and the dream is too. The world and I, we are still waiting, still hesitating. Aaron, any dream will do. Always be a dreamer. Always be the light in the darkness.
Thank
you
you.
already are. And we're going to sing together. Y'all join me. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Take it in. This moment is yours. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov to everyone. I was so tempted. I'm sure half of the people on here, and there are well over 90 devices, were just, wanted to do every time you were singing those verses from the last song of Joseph. Okay, so we're going to continue with the service. We do a very brief version of Musaf, the additional service, which is nonetheless a very important part of the traditional liturgy. And so we turn to page 184, and we rise. And Aaron, you have a break now, but also please put back on your mask, and everyone else should be masked down there. Okay, we go.
וידבר דברי קראתי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ויומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה וזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי המייח. יתברך וישתבח ויפעל וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה. ברכו לאל מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב וחושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי תמידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. נעריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש, המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך על הארץ כבודו.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא מלא עולמי מקום כבודו, כבודו מלא מלא עולמי מקום כבודו, משרתיו שואלים שואלים זה לזה איה מקום כבודו, משרתיו שואלים שואלים זה לזה איה מקום כבודו, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ממקומו הוא יפה מרחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד פעמיים באהבה שמה אומרים.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו, ישמיענו ברחמיו, ברחמיו שנית, שנית לעיני כל חי, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו, ברחמיו שנית, 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 שנית לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
אדוני אלוהיכם.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול, כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Amen. We'll give you a second now. If you'd like to continue on your own, you can use the link in the chat for Musaf, but also this quote from George Eliot from Middlemarch, which really speaks to the theme of Aaron's Devar Torah and of our portion and of the little people who live hidden lives, who make such a difference in our lives. The people of 2020, the election poll workers, the first responders, the nameless, indispensable heroes. And the cantor will conclude the Musaf with the full Kaddish.
Huh?
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה. בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב והימרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עמיה.
Yitbarach.
יפרח וישתבח ויפעל וירומם ונשא ויתדע ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה. ברכו לאל אמן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירה מעלמה ואמרו אמן. תקבע תלתכון ובתכון כל ישראל קודם ובהון ושמיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Amen.
And we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שכינות השמיים יסד הארץ ומשבי קרוב בשמיים שכינת וזו רומים אלוהינו אינו. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And this coming week, we recall in loving memory the yard sites of Rosalie Aperman, Charlotte Ackerman, Elaine Albert, Eddie Allen, David Berman, Jackie Bitterman, Samuel Blumenthal, Sarah Blumenthal, Benny Bufford, Ronald Creedon, Martin Davis, Nathan Denner, Jacob Dornfeld, Ray Farron, Malvina Foyer, Abraham Field, Susan Friedman, Cantor Michael Hammerman, Baruch Halpern, Norman Hilfer, Alfred Hill, Jacob Holland, Maurice Hornblath, Michael Jacobson, Leo Kassoff, Cecilia Kaufman, Rosalie Koster, Martin Korenthal, Max Lazarowitz, Jack Letterman, Howard Malloy, Sylvia Mandel, Gladys Passeltiner, Ann Pierce, Sandra Rader, Aaron B. Rakes, Nathan Rizak, Abe Romanowitz, Doris Rome, Bernard Schwartz, May Schwartz, Max Chevron, Charles Edward Silverman, Joan Simon, Leslie Susser, Harry Sverdlov, Irving Warsaw, Martin Winthrop, Linda Wolf, and Miriam Yonet. Those who mourn and those who recall yard sites now rise and can unmute and join in the mourners' Kaddish. Yit Gadal,
משפחתו ונחמתה דמירם ביומה וימרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל יאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרום הוא יעשה שלום ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושב תבל ויאמרו אמן.
V'imru, amen. V'imru, 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 amen.
Thank you. So, Elisa, are you there for announcements?
Shabbat Shalom. So there's a computer that was behind there isn't there anymore. So I'm doing this from here. Shabbat Shalom. Aaron, since you're here, I wanted just to say to you that you've made your family so proud, but you've also made your congregation proud and your community proud. You did such a beautiful job reading your Torah portion and chanting your Haftorah. And as Emmett's mom, I'm so proud that you were his friend. And you were an incredible friend who really brightened up his life and all of our lives too, me and Jeff and Cedar also. And he would love how you're helping to make the playground a place where friends can come and have a meal together as long as it's not eggs. And we love you. And of course, we love your mom and dad, who are such bright lights in our community. We love you too, Josh. So mazel tov to all of you. Okay, so now the announcements, and there's a lot. And my predecessor, Carl, was able to somehow memorize all the announcements, but I don't have that talent. So here we go. Okay, so we start with Hanukkah. So tonight there's a tailgate Hanukkah party in the parking lot, and we hope that you'll join us in your cars and bring your menorahs, and we will supply the dreidels, but you will come, and as long as it doesn't rain, we will celebrate Hanukkah together. But every night on Zoom, there is Hanukkah lighting with your TBE community. And a few announcements to really help the community. We are doing a bunch of different food drives, and for example, the TBE support is needed for Stamford's immigrant community. So instead of the festive meal that TBE provided last year, we've been asked by the Building One community to donate toys from Amazon and ShopRite gift cards ordered online for those families who just simply don't have enough to eat. So please refer to the announcements from this week. They were sent out on Thursday, and there's links and everything so you can do that. In addition, Bethel Cares will be providing Christmas meals and gifts to local shelters. So also go online to get the details about that. On Thursday nights, we continue our Scotch and Torah, so that is open to everybody. And Sunday fun days at Emmett's Playground, and that's from 11 to 12:30, and you have to just sign up in advance, but as long as the weather holds, which I think this Sunday it will, which is tomorrow, you can join us there. We have coffee and creative vote discussion with Rabbi Jerry on Mondays. Very important program this week on Tuesday, December 15th from 7 to 8:30. Rabbi Hammerman and Reverend Dr. Michael Christie will be doing part 2 of a 2-part series, The Jewish and Christian Roots of Racism and Inclusion. So that will be a very special course, and that is sponsored by our Tzedek committee. We have tomorrow a virtual tour, Hanukkah, Hellenism, and Herod, and I love a little good alliteration. And that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. with our tour guide, who actually I think is the tour guide when we go to Israel as a congregation, Peter Abelo. And it's a big hit, so join us tomorrow on Zoom. And next week on Sunday, this is important because this is Lisa Grove Rader, who was one of Aaron's bar mitzvah tutors. There's a connection with their families, but Lisa Grove Rader's great uncle, Kurt Kleinman, will be answering questions about his journey to America in 1941 to escape the horrors of the Holocaust after we watch a video about his trek. So the Kleinman family's story is depicted in the book, The Boy Who Followed His Father into Auschwitz. And the book's author will also be joining us at the meeting. So we invite you to come. That's next Sunday, December 20th at 2 o'clock on Zoom. And one last thing I'll just mention is the workshop on implicit unconscious bias, which will be next Monday on December 21st from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And that's the second part of the series the SETA committee has been working on. And it's also a very meaningful and enlightening program, so I hope you'll join us for that. I think that's all I got. So Shabbat Shalom, and again, Mazel Tov to the Friedmans. We are so delighted, and Aaron was amazing and is amazing. So Mazel Tov.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And one other thing, there are some people on this in this service. The beauty of the wonder of it is that people can come from near and far. And I know some people are far away. And if anyone would like to just unmute yourself and see, maybe we could see who's from the farthest away. If anyone wants to take a guess at that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. So where are you?
Hi, I'm Giselle Terry, aka Gigi Obaum. So I'm here from Los Angeles, California today.
Oh, wow. Welcome.
It has been the most beautiful service. Oh my gosh, and Aaron is amazing, and thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks. We all agree that Aaron is amazing. Anyone else?
I am so happy. I am Frances Olbaum. I'm not that far away. I'm in New York, but it is such a pleasure to see my sister. And I cannot tell you what it means to me since COVID, and since my father's passing. We would always see each other in Florida, and it's been a long time. So your face is a pleasure to see at such a wonderful, beautiful event. And Aaron, you did a spectacular job, and love to the whole family.
Wow. Thank you. So after Aaron does the Kiddush and Motzi, we'll officially end the service, and people can individually, you just need to talk, and you'll see that your face is on the screen, and you can wish the family Mazel Tov. Maybe we'll ask everyone to sort of come up around the computer so they can see you, you can see them. And that's great. I also want to mention there are people on this call from my own early rabbinic years. I won't embarrass anybody, but who are very responsible. You can see the halo around my head right now. They are the ones that put it there. And anyway, I appreciate all of my teachers from way, way back, and all of those who have helped me in various ways as the Ish throughout my journey. So, Aaron, you have it there. You have the wine and the challah. Why don't you go grab it?
Joshua is going to actually be doing the
Oh,
hamotzi.
you know what? I did. It was in my notes, and I stand corrected. All right, Josh, you ready? Come on up.
So should I do Kiddush first and then hamotzi?
Why don't you bring him next to you, and you can do one, and then he'll do the other. And this is going to be tricky, but it would be great for us to see the challah when he does the hamotzi. So we'll wait for that. We'll move the camera a little bit, okay?
Yeah. Cool. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen. Now, you need to take the mask off in order to drink. I just want to make sure you do that. Okay. There we go. All right. And the same will hold true for you, Josh, when you eat the challah or even drink the grape juice. Okay.
Yes, grape juice.
Yes. All right. So we see. Now let us take off the challah cover to see. Oh my God, that is a challah. All right, Josh, go ahead.
Hamotzi lehem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rising songs together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem min haaretz.
Amen.
Okay, you can all have a little piece and we'll all get jealous. Before I say Shabbat Shalom, I want to add that I put the link to Emmett's Playground into the chat for anyone who would like to use that for donations or to find out more. And after Shabbat, I'll be pulling together the videos and Aaron's speech as well to a website that we'll send out, a link we'll send out to everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.
So
Now
everyone,
you guys can say hi.
you can say Shabbat.
Unmute.
Don't be shy.
Shalom, Mazal Tov.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Mazel tov.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Herman. How you been?
Andrew, it's so great to see you.
You too.
You haven't aged a bit.
Mazel tov.
Maybe a little.
Mazel tov and Yashika.
Oh, thank you.
Yashikoa.
Hi, Rachel, Keith, Aaron, and Joshua.
Oh.
Providence.
Oh, look at you guys in front.
I just unclicked that.
Aiden. Hi, Mazel tov.
Mazel
Thank
tov.
you.
Now they're all gonna see that.
Thanks for coming.
Mazel tov.
Delete.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Great. Mazel tov.
Aaron, you did great. Fantastic.
Hi, Rachel.
Thank you,
Keith,
Aaron.
Josh, Aaron. Mazel tov.
Hi, Duffy. Hi, Larry.
It's an absolutely incredible
Wonderful.
experience. Thank you for sharing your day with us.
Oh, we loved having. Thank you for
Just
coming.
so everyone knows, the farthest distance was Colombia.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh, Cousin Karen. Hi, Cousin Karen.
Hi, thank you, Aaron, for sharing about family and teaching me about stuff I didn't know about my own family and why how I got to be here. So you taught me.
Rabbi in the making.
It's great to see you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all.
Mazel tov.
All right, we're gonna.
Thank you, good job.
Mazel tov. You were
Mazel
wonderful,
tov.
Aaron, and all the choreographers were fantastic. Mazel,
Hi,
mazel.
Leslie.
Good job.
Oh, verses! Yay!
Mazel tov, Aaron.
I actually remember being at Rachel's bat mitzvah. It seems almost like yesterday, but I
That's
know.
right. It is right. We haven't aged at all.
It was 10 years ago.
It was
Anyway,
yesterday. It was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
You were there too.
Yes, she was.
And
Say something.
What am I got to say?
There's Uncle Norbert. Hi,
Hi,
Uncle
Hi,
Norbert.
Uncle
Hi,
Diana.
I'm so proud of you. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really proud and happy to see you.
Muchas gracias.
Let me guess who's from Colombia.
Oh.
All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
All right.
Shut it down.
Shabbat Shalom. It was great.
Aaron, great job in there.
Shalom. Mazel tov. Good.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Aaron, Mazel tov. You did a great job. Mazel tov, Aaron.
And Mazel tov to Evelyn and Ellen as well.